Hello, everyone. Kevin Jones, Realty Professionals, here with Dave Wilson, Pacific Trust Mortgage. And I welcome you to be one of our referral partners. It's really, really awesome to have you on board. And my first question is why would we choose Pacific Trust Mortgage as a buyer?
Well, first off, thanks for having me as one of your referral partners. I really appreciate that. And the answer is multifaceted. Pacific Trust Mortgage is a company where we're primarily mortgage originators, where we originate our own loans, we fund our own loans. We're a true mortgage bank as compared to a mortgage broker. And the differentiating aspect there is a mortgage broker, which I was for about 7 years. There's nothing wrong with it, but you lose all the control because I basically package up the borrower's information and I ship it off to a company and they underwrite it and they ultimately will approve it and fund it and do all those functions. But I have zero control. I'm one small fish in a huge pond. And so the relationship you have at a mortgage bank, like I know the funder, he sits 10 feet over there. Our underwriter is in-house. I've got a relationship for years with her. So having those connections really makes a difference when you have a complicated file or something gets sticky. It's real easy when you're sitting in an office in Minnesota to push that one aside and ignore it versus when you have a connection with someone and we're all pulling on the same rope trying to get loans funded. I mean, it's a real big advantage in my opinion.
No, it is. It really, really is. And what I'd like to do is kind of back up just a little bit for maybe a buyer or borrower that doesn't quite understand mortgage banker, mortgage broker, all that good stuff. So like a mortgage banker would be also known as a direct lender, somebody that loans their own money to a private person, maybe like myself, and then later on they will either keep it in-house or they'll sell it to another conglomerate.
Yeah, we sell all of ours. Okay. The only ones that we keep in-house, I guess to your point, we have several different lines of business. So our majority of our business is Fannie, Freddie, Jumbo, VA, FHA, regular what they call conforming or conventional loans. We also have bridge loans that we do in-house. We have private money, which is loans that just don't fit the box of Fannie, Freddie or other investors because of credit issues or income issues or something. And they're kind of Band-Aid loans. Our target's 6 months to a year or something like that, where the interest rates are a little higher, they're a little more challenging from a monthly standpoint. But if it gets the borrower into the home they want, we can come back and work with them on their credit or their income or whatever the issue is that prevents them from buying. And it helps our realtor partners out because they get a viable transaction. It helps our borrowers out because they get into something where ordinarily they wouldn't really fit the box or wouldn't be able to qualify. So awesome. We have all these different avenues, and it's why I work here. I worked for a lot of other companies, and I just got tired of saying no to folks. And here I don't have to say no hardly ever. I mean, sometimes it's a plan. We have to start working on things to get them back to square where they're going to qualify. But it's really not a no, it's a win.
Right. And so, yeah, in some of the things you had mentioned, like a bridge loan. Could you explain briefly what a bridge loan is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the ideal situation for a bridge loan is somebody who has a house with little mortgage or no mortgage on it, living out of the area. They're super popular all along the Central Coast. Typically, it's somebody who lives in San Francisco or the Bay Area. They find a home they want to buy in Cambria. They haven't sold their home in the Bay Area. They don't have the cash in the bank or don't want to access the cash in the bank. So what we do is we do an appraisal on the home they're leaving, and we will loan, depending on the situation, up to about 75%. And that's not a hard rule. It could be different based on a whole lot of factors. But that's a 6-month loan, interest-only payments. And then we use those funds to buy the home they want to buy here. And then when they sell their home in wherever it is, it pays off our lien, and it just kind of wraps it all in. So it avoids them having to be a contingent buyer where they're waiting on their home to sell and trying to buy here. So it's a real advantage for people that are coming out of the area, or even if they're local, they just don't have the cash ready to buy something new.
And that's a key point. Being able to purchase without selling your house so that you're not homeless or that you're not put in a very precarious position. So thank you for explaining that, and hopefully that helps. If you want more information on bridge loans or anything, how do they go ahead and reach out to you? What's a good contact?
The best contact is let's cut that part out. The best contact is probably my cell phone. It's 805-550-6933. You can text me, you can call me. That's probably the best way to go in case I'm running around. Email is also great. It's dwilson, so DWILSON, at PACTM.com. So dwilson at PACTM.com. And if you're wondering what, just Pacific Trust Mortgage, we just shortened it down a little bit.
Right.
So easiest ways to get a hold of me are those two, and obviously we can meet in my office. There's a lot of ways we can get together, but those are probably the two most convenient ways.
Awesome, awesome. And then, you know, why should they choose Pacific Trust Mortgage? And more so, why should they choose you, Dave Wilson, to represent them as a buyer?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. There's so many of us. I mean, the loan industry by itself has been commoditized all over the place. I mean, you can't go a day without seeing a mortgage commercial or advertisement on the radio. I mean, we're inundated with mortgage people talking about what they offer. And I think what it comes down to is one, I've got quite a bit of experience, nearly 20 years of doing loan origination. And I've had an opportunity to work in a number of different organizations where I've done construction loans, land loans, bridge loans, jumbo loans, commercial loans, just about any type of loan product that is out there. I've originated at one point in my career. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to communicate that not a lot of loan scenarios surprise me. And so I've seen it all before. And if we're looking at cross-collateralizing something or looking at complicated borrowers that are self-employed with multiple entities and how do we combine all that income together, I'm very familiar with all of that. I was even an underwriter for a while. The worst 6 months of my life. I'm not going to do that again, but it gave me a lot of exposure to just very complicated borrower scenarios. So that's kind of the big picture. The other thing is, before I got into the mortgage industry, I was a high school economics and history teacher. And I think where that comes in handy is when I have clients that I'm talking mortgage to and they just glass over, I can fall back on my teaching background and go, okay, clearly we're not connecting right now. And I can find other ways to communicate that to try to get them engaged and understand, because let's be honest, I was teaching history to a bunch of high schoolers that cared nothing about it. And now I'm teaching mortgage to a bunch of borrowers that they want to buy the house. They don't really care what the mortgage-backed securities did the last day and a half or any number of facets that come into it. So it's finding a way to educate my borrowers and guide them along the path to qualifying for home ownership in a way that is palatable and understandable without talking over their heads or without just sugarcoating it and just rubber stamping and saying, oh yeah, everything's easy, don't worry about it. Because let's be real, they're not all easy. Some of them are complicated, some require a lot of work, and I'm willing to put in the work. So I think those two components are why. And then the other piece is we have really competitive loan products. I mean, I could be the nicest guy in the world, but if I'm not price competitive, it's not going to work. And so fortunately, we are very price competitive. I would say that we're better than most in terms of our day-to-day run-of-the-mill pricing. So I can confidently say that if you do choose to work with me, you're going to get a good value for what you get in terms of your interest rate, in terms of the time, and in terms of the process, because again, we do it all in-house. We're not relying on some underwriter at Irvine to approve your loan. And we would be able to vet the transaction up front, not get way down the road and then have a problem and try to scramble and fix it.
So what I think I hear you saying is that you work for an absolutely incredible company.
Yeah.
They offer almost every single product that any buyer would potentially need. Mm-hmm. That you're very competitive in your pricing, in your fees and what have you. And then beyond everything else, we've got you with all your knowledge and competitive spirit. And one thing that we don't really discuss a lot of times with buyers and sellers, and that's one thing we should touch on also, is refinances. But the great thing about Dave is he does a lot for our local association and our community. So it's always nice to be able to work with somebody that is giving back to the local organization that helps him put food on the table, and also with the community. Let's face it, we live in one of the most amazing communities in the world. So, but just to touch base real quick to wrap it up, do you do refinances as well? We didn't touch on that.
Yeah, absolutely, we do refinances. This year, not so much. In most years, it accounts for probably 45% of my business year in, year out. I mean, I calculate that at the end of each year to try to figure out, my marketing plan and how to approach, getting as much business as I can in the doors. But it generally counts for a big chunk of our transactions. Right now, I am doing some refinances. Oftentimes, they are exchanging credit card debt for home debt. So if people got into a little bit of extra credit card debt over the last couple of years of the pandemic, which many did, we're at a situation with unprecedented equity and, for some folks, unprecedented debt. And so if you're at a credit card at 22, 24, 25%, and we're looking at a mortgage rate at like 6 7/8 or 6.5 or something like that, if we're going to buy down the rate, I mean, that makes sense all day long. And everyone has their own strategy as far as tapping into equity in your home. But to me, in most cases, it's a cash flow play. And if we can reduce cash flow, that allows you to save and do other things with your money rather than just sell it, send that money into a credit card company that's doing compounded interest daily, which just sucks the life out of a lot of folks. So yeah, refinance is definitely something we do. I'd like to do more of them because, again, with rates doubling this year, it kind of put the kibosh on that. But yes, we definitely do.
Okay, awesome. And again, what's the phone number to reach you again?
Best number is 805-550-6933. And if you want to Google me, it's just David Wilson at Pacific Trust Mortgage. My website will pop right up. If you want to fill out an application, there's a little button there that says apply now. It's super easy. It takes you about 10 minutes and it just walks you through the whole thing. And that's the easiest way to get started. And you can do it from the comfort of your own home, watching TV, and just click right through. And it has an easy upload for all your documentation. So it's a really, really smooth system. And I'm really proud that we can offer that.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you inviting me into your office and be able to take part in this and be a referral partner. And this is a strategy that we have, is to be able to surround ourselves with great people like Dave, so that he can help our clients and be able to offer services that you would be able to basically do an interview, kind of like what we're doing right here, with him prior to meeting him. And I think you'll be very, very impressed working with him. So again, thank you for your time and energy. I really, really appreciate it, and all you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be part of your referral team, and I really appreciate it. And guys, give me a call, give me an email, whatever is best for you, and reach out. We'll figure some stuff out together.
Awesome. Have a powerful day. Go get them. Bye now.